Recording has started.
Excellent. Okay, it is 11:04 and we are convening the Monday, April 29th, 2024 special meeting of the Vermont Community Broadband Board. First item on the agenda is roll call for the board and then staff. We have Brian Otley, Laura Sibilia, Patty Richards, Dan and Holly are expected in a few minutes, but we're going to kick off the meeting with the three of us. Christine, you want to run down staff in attendance?
Yep, we have Alexi Montserrat, Rob Fish, Tony Clitheroe, Karen Herzog, and we have Tellis Fremen from CTC, who is our engineering advisor. Did I miss anybody on staff? Okay, great.
Okay, then we'll move on to approve the agenda. I'll make a motion we approve the agenda as provided. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brian. Any discussion of the agenda?
Yeah, I'd like to make it's really a clarification more than a change. The Northwest Fiber Works, since they sent the board packet, they've actually found some additional financial opportunities. So they've requested we actually will go into executive session and provide the board with all the information about the grant application, but they will put off approval till the May 13th meeting.
Okay. All right. So we are going to go through Northwest, but we're not seeking approval of anything at the meeting today.
That's correct.
Okay, great.
And by the way, I just want to publicly thank MK and her team. MK's been working many hours on this, and we're very impressed with the work they've been doing.
Okay, great, awesome. My understanding is also the item 9 BCBB affordability policy, that we're not going to take that up today because there's revisions to the policy version that was submitted in our board packet. But if we have time, certainly we'll tee it up for an opportunity for Holly to do any discussion if she would like. My understanding is we're not going to take action on that today.
That's correct.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion of the agenda? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 And good morning.
And I'll just make a note for the record that Holly and Dan have both joined at 11:07. We've just done a roll call and approval of the agenda. Thank you. So we have all board members in attendance now. Okay, let's move on. 11:07. Let's move to public comment. Christine, do you want to tee us up for that?
Sure. Yes. Anybody can make public comment at this point. Raise your hand. I will call you as your hand is raised. If you're on the phone, let us know by speaking up. But you'll have 3 minutes to speak. And when you're done speaking, I'll let you know when the time is up. So anybody want to speak, please raise your hand. Oh, we've got Tony would like to speak.
Yes, I just wanted to ask whether Patty had intentionally gone over the February 12th meeting minutes, because we had worked on a new template and we were hoping to get the board's feedback on that and possibly approval of those minutes and then that format going forward so we can catch up on the other minutes.
Thank you, Tony. I didn't realize I skipped right over that.
I have comments on the minutes after you have a motion in play, Patty.
Okay. Are there any other public comments? Let's go through public comment first, and then we'll circle back to the minutes. I'm sorry that I skipped right over that.
Okay, I'm not seeing any public comments, so we will call this the end of the public comment period, the first one.
All right. And if anybody has any burning thoughts that they would like to present, we also have public comment at the end of the meeting today. All right, so let's close public comment. Now we're going to move back to item 2, which is the approval of February 12th board meeting minutes and the format provided in our packet. Just so we can open up this for discussion, I'm just going to make a motion that we approve the February 12th, 2024 board meeting minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Holly.
I'll second.
Let's open up to discussion both of those minutes and of the format.
I have no problem with the format, Patty. Can I proceed? May I proceed?
Absolutely.
I have no problem with the format. I do have a problem with it being 8 weeks since we've approved minutes. And, we have a lot of action items in our minutes that require follow-up. And I know we're getting to a new format, but I want to really encourage all of us to keep our minutes current. There were many requests in the February 12th minutes that require action. So that's one thing, is the timing. So I'm anticipating that we're going to have this pile up of minutes for the April 1st, March 25th, March 11th meetings at our next meeting. And so that's my hope, is that we will be caught up by then. I would note that in the public comment section, the 4th sentence has an illiteracy where the statement is broken up into 2 parts that mean the same thing. So note on public comment, there should be a period instead of a comma, and then the rest of the sentence should be deleted. That's the 4th sentence under public comment. And I object to the fact that we're calling each other by first names everywhere. When we refer to Krista and Ellie and we don't say who they are, just in case these minutes are the subject of some contest at some point. I'm happy that we're all very friendly, but I do think that we should maintain a certain level of decorum that requires at least the statement of a full name in the first instance. And I would prefer we just went by last names. But anyway, always at least a full name. The rest of my comments would regard things that need to be followed up, but I'll hold that if we're going to discuss the parking lot.
Yeah, we can, do we have parking lot on?
No,
We
the
don't.
parking lot is not on this agenda.
Well, if we run
par-
out of time, I'll hold them till the next meeting, but there's a number of follow-ups, like I'd like to know what happened to the UCLA contract, just as an example.
Okay, thank you, Holly. Those are good comments. Christine, any concern with the use of naming protocol of doing first and last, whoever's taking the minutes?
I'll Tony comment on that. I don't see any problem, but Tony.
No, when I started, I was using people's titles and it just seemed so stiff, but I'm happy to use full names and then just use last names. It's totally fine.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good point, Holly, just to polish these up a bit. Association of the name with who they represent, at least in the first instance, and then you can go with last name throughout.
I also like the idea that it separates us. We don't want to sound like a club. And I just, I'm thinking of the auditor in the back of my mind.
Yeah, it's the good points. The only other thing that just a tidbit that I had would like to see is any board member who is not at the meeting when we start, the time that they come in, and also if somebody leaves before the end of the meeting, the time that they depart, so that's noted in the minutes, because that is important for action items taken. If they weren't part of an action item, it's just good to have that roll call. Dan's hands up.
I was just going to make a comment that for our own time while we're all together on these calls, and maybe to help address what Holly's concern was, that if the minutes were given to us electronically, we could make comment and get them squared away prior to the meeting, so that the time in the meeting wasn't taken on the minutes. It would have all been resolved electronically previously up to that point.
So Dan, by that, you mean in a Word format instead of a PDF?
Yeah, so we would each receive, maybe in the following week, the minutes, and we would get them our own comments, edits, changes, whatever, straightened out, so that there was really no discussion at that point, and that would assure that we would have them out and finished in their final format at the next board meeting each time.
And Google Docs works very well for that too.
So I'll let Christine mull that over, or if you want to respond.
Tony, any thoughts?
I was going to recommend that. We just put a Word version in the packet and let board members know, make comments on it in advance of the meeting. It makes sense.
I was actually suggesting maybe we do it the week after the meeting, so there's ample time.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that works.
If it works for you guys, yeah, that's good to hear. Thanks.
Okay. Any other comments on either the February 12th minutes or the format? All right, hearing no other comments. We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor of the minutes in the template, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes carry unanimously.
Patty, I am
Yes.
voting in support of that motion. Couldn't unmute in time.
Gotcha. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to item 4 on the agenda, Northwest Fiberworks. Christine, you want to tee us up?
Yes, I'll actually turn this over to Alexi to do the introduction, and then we'll have a request to go into executive session. I can give you a list of names as we're ready to go into executive session that should be invited.
I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
Alexi.
Can I take us back for one moment, Patty? I note that I omitted a comment that's actually quite kind of important in my mind. For all of the executive sessions in the February 12th meeting minutes, I would ask that we state the statutory basis for the executive session. And I could give, what I'll do instead of belaboring this point, I'll send Tony an email with the sections.
Okay, that's
Thank you.
great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Holly. Okay, let's go back to Northwest Fiberworks.
Okay, thanks. So and Dan and Holly, I'm not sure exactly when you came on, but we did make a note on the agenda during that portion of the meeting that what we will be hearing today from Northwest is going to be a briefing on their current plan for how to structure their grant. There was some additional information that we gathered toward the end of last week that will provide some additional opportunities for Northwest that they wanted to avail themselves of. And so we wanted to brief the board on where that is going, but we are not seeking a decision on the grant itself today, but we'll be planning to do that at the next board meeting. And so in order to discuss those issues, and Tony, if you want to cite the relevant piece, we would ask to go into executive session to provide that information. So, Tony, I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I'll give you the exact citation, but it's the public records exemption for contract negotiations and for trade secrets, confidential information.
Which I happen to have right here is 1 VSA 313A1A.
So Holly, I'm going to ask, is that a motion on the floor?
It is.
Okay, I will second that motion. we move into executive session? Any discussion? We're hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. In terms of those coming into executive session, all board members, Christine, can you note who else will be coming over?
Yes, Pablo Parola from GWI, Fletcher Kittredge from GWI, Tom Cecere from GWI, Jane DeBow from GWI, Matt Brown from GWI. We'll also have MK, Mary Kay. I'm sorry, Mary Kay, what's your last name?
Raymond.
Raymond
Raymond.
from Northwest, and Brad Lewis from Northwest, and Zachary Burdick from Northwest.
Okay, that's quite a roll call. Okay, so we're just gonna sit tight, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
I can
Rob,
move
you're gonna-
everybody over, but there does appear to be a question. Some Howard has his hand up.
Yeah, go ahead, Howard.
was Howard?
From
Howard
Vermont
Yeah.
Public.
Yeah, so
Howard.
I am more interested in the discussion about the Deerfield Valley CUD. I know that there are some real fans of open meetings on the board. And so we have these financial analysis, which are public documents that are talking about the financial viability of some of these CUDs. So I would just really encourage all of you to discuss in closed meeting what has to be discussed in closed meeting, but anything you can discuss with the public would be appreciated. As I said, we have this financial analysis specifically of Deerfield Valley saying that their plan is not viable, saying that they're counting a lot on this BEAD money. So just as you go into executive session, do what you need to, but please try to limit what happens behind closed doors because there is some public information that might be important. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Howard. And we have an established protocol for going into executive session. Obviously, any contractual matters that would harm a CUD or the VCBB, that does qualify as executive session items. Certainly, personnel matters are executive session, but we understand that we remain in open session as much as we can. But in the event we're talking about anything that could harm a contractual item, that does qualify as an executive session item.
Yeah. And just to make sure I get the story right, I mean, again, I have the financial analysis right now saying that Deerfield Valley's financial plan is not viable. So that's the only information I have to work with, short of you discussing it in open session. But again, thank you for listening to me. And so do you want us to go off? How does this work?
Christine, you want to brief the folks in public?
Yeah, Rob, would you take that, please?
Sure. Everybody that is in the executive session will automatically be moved on over to the executive session. You can just hold here, Howard and others, and then you will be, when we come back, the board will make a comment and then move into the Deerfield Valley discussion and go from there.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, Patty, FX Flynn has his hand up as well. I don't know whether you want to take that or not.
So I do now want to go into a public forum here. So I'm gonna stop the open mic right now. Just gonna put that out there. Let's go into executive session and deal with Northwest Fiberworks, their application grant.
Okay, Rob, go ahead, take it away.
Public comment at the end. I'm trying not to turn this into kind of an open mic situation where we don't get to all the items through the agenda, but we do have public comment slated for roughly 12:40. So there's still an opportunity. So let's move us over to executive session.
Okay, everybody should be moved automatically. I'll stay behind to see if anyone isn't. Never know with teams. Christine and Tony, you may have to move yourself as staff members. Is there anybody from Northwest that is supposed to be on this that has not been, that is still in this meeting?
I'm still here, but I don't think I'm supposed to be.
You were not on the list, but thank you, Jen.
Right. So how
Yes,
do I get out?
yeah, you just stay here and we will be back.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks.
See y'all in a bit. We'll try to keep you updated too.
Can the people on this call who do not have their last names on their icon, please fix it so that we know who everybody is? Thank you.
How do you do that?
Howard, this is Stephen John. If you're listening, you go to your picture that, or your initials, your box with your initials. There's 3 dots in the lower left-hand corner, and you go to those 3 dots, and that'll raise a menu that gives you a chance to do something about hide you. But you go to another dot. Let's see. I don't know. It's not working here for me, so guess that's no help. Oh, there are three dots up above on the icons going across after the hand and the face and the visuals. Let's see if that does it. No, that's not doing it.
Yeah, neither of those are a lot. Show me where to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't, usually I'm not dealing with MS Teams, so I guess I'm trying to be helpful, Howard, but you know,
Yeah.
how it's under maybe settings. Let's see if that does it. No. Anybody else?
Oh, this is Michael Rooney. I tried to change mine to put in Lamel FiberNet, and I couldn't find a way to do it. The settings don't seem to be enabled, and I can't figure out why.
Oh, well, we'll have to check with Rob Fish probably then. It's something to do with the settings not working. Yeah.
Howard, you're gonna have to leave the meeting, and when you come in, put in your full name.
Oh, that might work.
Same thing for Donna and yeah. Hey, Howard and Heron. FX here from my charitycfiber.net email. I just sent you both an email that has instructions for changing display names when you're an unverified guest. Heron, perhaps you could share that with Donna and anybody else on the call who's not fully identified.
Okay, I can do that. Let me find it.
If you could send it to me too, that would be nice. This is Michael Rooney. I'd like to have it.
Hello, the West.
This is Ann. You're on an open mic. You need to mute yourself.
Okay, I have to see whether I can do that. Sorry.
You're actually on twice.
I just have on my screen community broadband phone.
Well, you've got an open mic.
You're listed twice, Gene, on the list of visitors. So you've entered twice, I think is what's happening. One is labeled MB and the other one is labeled J as a guest. You have two people that are guests there. And you'll have to go in the black list. You see the shared invites or something like that on the right? There's a list on the right of all the participants. No? Don't see that? Well, good. We don't hear you on that channel. Whatever you're on now, I don't hear you. So what's the next channel? The other, what's your name there? There you go. You shut that off. Now the next one. That one's off. Yeah, that's muted. You did that correctly. Now the next one is J for Gene Whetstone, guest. And that one shows that it's still trying to connect or open mic or something. I don't know. Can't tell from the three dots. Let's see.
I see that both Genes are now muted.
Yeah, I see that now too. Okay, good. We're cool. Thank you. I'll shut up now myself. Thank you.
Patty, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just remind you that, we may want to identify people who are in the meeting by first name only. But the people who are here by first name only, you may ask or choose not to identify them by first and last name.
I'm sorry, for the minutes
For participation, normally in your select board meeting, if you're attending, you give your first and last name, not just your first name.
so for are you stating, so when we move into executive session, you want first and last names?
I'm saying it's a best practice for everyone in the meeting to be identified by first and last names. That's a best practice. First and last names.
So
And
I'm trying to figure out what.
For
So when
public comment or whatever, I think, right?
Yeah, and it's actually, for these purposes, going into executive session only would be enough, because there is the rule that you're not obligated to identify yourself in a public meeting. So yes, for purposes of executive session, those people who attended executive session should have a first and a last name. You need it for the minutes anyway.
Okay, yep, all right. And it would be helpful then as we list our names on the Zoom meeting or the Teams meeting, whatever platform we use, write your full name out. I don't know if I show up as Patty R or Patty Richards right now, or.
You're Patty Richards.
Okay, so we'll just write our full names out. It's easier for the minute taker too. All right, are we back fully, Rob?
Yes, everybody is back.
All right, thank you very much. So we have come out of executive session. There was no action taken relative to Northwest Fiberworks grant application. And I just want for clarification to be clear that we went into executive session to talk about a contractual matter that Northwest Fiberworks is dealing with. And that contractual matter meets the criteria for an executive session under 1 VSA section 313A1A, which protects information concerning contracts, and premature nature of that material would place Northwest Fiberworks at a competitive disadvantage. So the nature of the reason to go into executive session was to talk about a contractual matter and not put Northwest Fiberworks at a competitive disadvantage. Again, no action was taken today. And that's all I have to report. So we are all back in public session. We will now move on to DV fiber grant amendment. Christine, do you want to talk a little bit about the DV fiber piece that's in our board packet? And specifically, what I'd like you to do is address a commentary or comment that was made that I think was an error just before we went into executive session for Northwest Fiberworks.
Yes, I'm happy to. As we talked about even before the VCBB was set up, and we talked about in the beginning, the board had, when we put these grants together, we understood that this is a competitive environment. And over time, other competitors would come in and cherry pick some of the best areas. So if you look at the major change that's happening with DV fiber, it is because they've lost a significant portion of their passings due to other providers picking those up, which changed the business plan. They're indeed not failing at all. What's happening when we go into executive session, the board will see that they've adjusted to the changes that have occurred in their areas, and they've put together a very solid business plan for moving forward. But it is a request to change the grant conditions with the specific goal of creating a very solid and successful business plan with the changes that have occurred. So I'll be glad to take any questions on that before we go into executive session.
All right, does anybody else have any comments that they would like to relay before we go into executive session? Before we go in, anything that we need to discuss that's public forum information, in other words, should be in the public, let's talk about there. Any contractual matters, certainly we would move over to executive session, but anything that's in a public, we want to stay in public session, in open session, for any non-contractual pieces. And who from DV Fiber will be talking today?
Hey, this is Gabby Kafrida. I'm the executive director of DV Fiber.
Okay, great. So anything that we can discuss in open session, we would like to do that. If we get into any contractual matters, then we would move over into executive session.
So my recommendation is to go into executive session because I believe they all relate to our grant amendment and our proposed changes to the contract.
Okay, so you would like the full discussion to happen in executive session because it's a contractual matter?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, I'm going to make a motion that we move into executive session per 1 VSA section 313, paragraph A1A, which protects information concerning contractual matters in which premature general public knowledge would clearly place DV Fiber at a competitive disadvantage. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay, can we, for all board members, VCBV board members will move over. Can we state first and last names of those from DV Fiber or any other folks that are coming over into executive session for the record?
Yep, be glad to. We've got Pablo Parola from GWI, Fletcher Kittredge from GWI, Tom Saucier from GWI, Jane DeVoe from GWI, Matt Brown from GWI, Alex Rozek from Mac Mountain, Sydney Atkins from Mac Mountain, Kathy Vaughn from Mac Mountain, Chris Perlitz from Municipal Capital Markets, as well as Ann Manwaring, Stephen John, and Gabrielle Gaffrietta from DB Fiber leadership team. Did I miss anybody?
I have a question, Patty.
Ms. Holly.
Are we going to be addressing amendments to an ARP? I believe we're going to be addressing amendments to an ARPA grant application. Correct? And Christine, I guess I'm asking you if that's correct.
Yes, that is correct.
If that's correct, are the funding, potential funding partners reasonably included in this executive session?
I would ask Gabrielle, can you answer that?
Yeah, we're okay with that, and we would invite them.
I know you would, but it should only be Patty. I'm not trying to play lawyer here, but I'm trying to exclude parties not necessary to the discussion of the amended application. And so, Gabby, I'm asking you to be judicious in who you include, because that's part of ensuring that we're keeping our discussion pertinent to the contractual matters at hand. So if those parties are pertinent to the contractual matters for the amendment of the ARPA application, fine, so be it. But if they're not, please be judicious.
I understand and I appreciate what you're saying, Holly. And I would say they are, as they submitted documentation supporting our grant amendment.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Laura has her hand up.
I've put it down.
Okay.
You do have one other hand up.
Okay, I apologize. I can't see everybody on the screen because I have to use my iPhone. I can't see
Manwaring.
who is the hand?
Ann Manwaring.
Well, I'd like to put it down, but I can't quite figure out how to do that. But they
No,
are on there to speak to the relative risk that is contained in the memo that we submitted for our application. That's why they're included.
as
Thank you.
Gabby said. And I'm going to try really hard. And Gene Boardman, you got an open mic again.
Oh, God.
Okay, so let's move over to executive session.
Sure. Once again, everybody, oh, I'm sorry. I guess there was a motion, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, everybody should be moved automatically over, except for staff, which may have to manually switch. So I will open that now. And Hiren, please put up the slide stating we're in executive session.
I see Pablo and Matt. Do you believe we're in the right session? Should I pay?
Nope. Yeah, I was trying. I just sent a message to Gabby. None of us have moved over.
Okay.
Fletcher too. Jane. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm over here. I'm over here too, Alex.
Oh, hey, Alex.
Hey. Chris Perlitz is on also.
Worked very well the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, except Pablo. Pablo didn't make it last time.
Oh, okay.
This is nice. You can do a twofer with both CUDs.
Yes.
Has anyone heard what's happened with CV fiber? they decided to
Hey, this is a public session.
Yeah,
FYI.
this is a public session. I don't know if we want to go into the details about this, Chris.
Oh, sorry, Janelle. I was just thinking of you. Okay.
Yeah, I think we just didn't get moved over. We're still in the public session.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's not talk about those details here.
No, I'd love to catch up at some point. Okay.
Yes, sounds good. Thank you.
Rob, let us know when we are ready to roll.
Okay, I think once Perrin's turning off the away message, I believe everybody is back and should be spotlighted when that happens. We'll find out in a second. Is that everybody? I believe so. Okay, thank you.
All right, it is 1:03 and we have returned to open session. The results of our executive session with the DV Fiber grant amendment request is that no action was taken. And that is all we have to report at this time. Also, Dan Nelson left the meeting at 1:02. And we still have a handful of items left on the agenda. The conclusion of the meeting was supposed to be 1 o'clock today. Christine, item 6, which is the Maple Broadband WCVT subrecipient grant application, can that wait to the May meeting?
Yes.
And okay, then also the affordability policy, we're going to push that anyway to the May meeting, so we won't take that up at all today.
Yeah, we have Joanne Hovis scheduled for the May meeting as well.
Okay, we have the CUDA update and public comment. And then the last item was a brief executive session that we do need to hold that executive session. Can all board members stay on for roughly 20 more minutes?
Yes.
All right, so let's
Yes.
kick to CUDA update and Rob V, if he's available for that. And we'll try to keep that as brief as possible so we can leave time for the executive session for a personnel matter.
Patty, there's a lot going on, but we'd be happy to wait till the next meeting to give a full update.
Okay, thank you very much, Rob. I appreciate that. Let's move to public comment, closing public comment.
Yeah, Dave, so anybody has any public comments to make, raise your hand. I will call on you. You'll have up to 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none.
Okay, thank you very much.
I think Rob can move you all into an executive session just to make sure that we.
Okay, so I'm going to make
Go
a
ahead.
motion that we move to executive session to discuss personnel matters under 1 VSA section 313 A33. Is there a second?
Patty, I wonder if council could join us today.
Yes, I actually would like to request both Tony and Christine join.
Okay. I'd second that motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, so that's all board members plus Christine and Tony.
Okay, everybody but staff should be moved over automatically. Staff may have to move over on their own. Hold on, Christine, I got you.
Yeah, how do we move over, Rob?
You'll be moved.
Okay.
You'll be moved in a second.
Thank you, Rob.
Oh, but Tony, you too? Okay, sorry, it didn't connect I had to do a different room because the participants changed. Tony, are you still here? Or did you move over?
I have not moved over.
Okay, oh, there you are. Okay. Are you getting the notice to bring you over? Because you
Yes,
are.
it says 10
Okay.
seconds.
Okay.
Thank